Oh, okay, work it. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Oh,
Uh-oh.
it's about to go down.
Yay, yay.
I'm on here making
Uh-huh.
jokes. Silly. I'm gonna be looking real silly if I get on here and then I hear this on our replay. Like, no way.
Uh-huh.
Too late.
I'm gonna be like, see, what had happened was, um,
There she go, acting like she part of the opera.
I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be a superstar.
Singing the opera.
Fame and fortune. Someone is gonna pay me for this. Hey, hey, hey! Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode
Always.
of The Color of Truth. So, today we're going to be talking about common sense, what it means to have common sense, and different scenarios where common sense should be common, but it's not common for everybody. So, before we get into our conversation tonight, I would like to introduce my two lovely ladies that I have on the show with me tonight. How are you doing today, Miss D?
I am fantastic, enjoying the weather. Just working like crazy. That's about it. But I'm good. Hope
Okay.
everybody out there is doing good as well.
All
Did
right.
she say enjoying the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had good weather the last few days.
I ain't
I
even mad at you, but right now I ain't enjoying nothing about this damn weather. But other than that, I'm doing good. I'm
Girl, we've
doing
been
good.
having like 60, 70 degrees, perfect weather.
Oh no, we've been having the 70s, 80s, but it's been raining now. Like, Lord Jesus, if you don't stop raining,
Right.
it just keep raining and raining, but it's hot. It get hot, muggy, then it get cold with this rain. Oh yeah, it's acting bipolar.
I'm a
It don't
fan
know
of
what
the
to
rain,
do.
so that don't bother me.
Yeah, no. I
Oh,
don't
I
like it,
love
especially if I gotta
a
go
gloomy
somewhere in
day.
it.
Oh, I love a gloomy day.
Man,
Only if I
look,
ain't got nothing to do.
right.
Nah,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
just
When I ain't
it
got
don't
nothing to
matter to
do,
me.
that's
I love a
fine.
gloomy
When
day.
people got things to do, the man, that could damn for a day.
Nah, that don't bother me.
I feel like it's an everlasting swimming pool just coming down on top of my head. Oh my god.
What? I don't want to be wet. Leave me alone.
Or sticky, so stuck to your body. It's too much. Other than
No,
this, other than the nasty weather though, Miss Nisi, how you been feeling?
oh, Lord Jesus, I need more help out here. It takes a village, people, and school would be for real. That 8 hours is for real,
It
and
ain't
I'm a
out yet.
little tired. No, I can't wait till tomorrow, Lord Jesus. Woo! Amen. Hallelujah.
Oh,
Woo, my bad. It's for real. Hey, when we say it take a village, we need for real help at home, in the community. Man, these kids, man, they come with more than just a little bit of needing education.
Hmm.
ain't that the truth?
Man, we do more saying no and stop more than anything. It's like, don't you got some type of home training? Act like you do. Just act like it for all I care. So yeah. But yeah, as soon as school in, I will probably be feeling much better. But I've been getting drained.
Got you.
But how you doing? How you doing, sis? How you feeling?
I'm always unstoppable. Always, always. Even when I think I am and I don't feel like it, I'm unstoppable.
I feel you on that one.
Cause yeah, the our topic for today though had me tripping. I think I spent a lot of time laughing and coming up with all of these scenarios where common sense should make sense to most people, but it generally doesn't. Um, I want to start out by saying that
Mm-hmm.
common sense is Sound practical judgment. That's what it's defined as. Sound practical judgment that concerns everyday matters or a basic ability to be able to perceive, understand, and judge in a manner that's shared by nearly all people. So, nearly all people. So, reading it in the dictionary at first was like, oh, wow. Well, even the dictionary knows that common sense isn't common to everybody. Um, if you ladies had to define common sense and what you think that it means for you, what would you term common sense as?
Honestly, dictionary. That's all common
That's
sense.
what I was about to say. The
Yeah,
dictionary term.
that's it.
You
It
probably
don't get
not
more
saying
simpler than
as
that.
right, and it probably said all, and I probably would say it in what was it more majority than I
Yeah, it
wouldn't
should
necessarily
always
say
be the majority.
Yeah, it said
right.
nearly
I'm
all.
like
So
Yeah, it should
yeah,
always
that's
be
what
the
I'm
majority.
like nearly half. If half say yeah, then half say no. Hey, you can't go wrong 50-50, you know what I'm saying? 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Heads or tails, you know what I'm saying? Flip a coin. You know what I'm
nearly half.
saying?
So what are some situations that you would think that a person would have some sort of understanding about that should be common understanding all the way across the board, like everybody should be able to understand this basic concept, yet you find that there's a lot more people that do not understand? What would be a thing that you would think would fit into that category of being
Can we
in
say warning
uncommon?
labels? So, do you remember the Tide Pod situation? At what point in time did the Tide Pods look edible? Y'all can say what y'all want to say about them looking appetizing to children. I grew up in a home with siblings, grew up with friends. None of us ate dishwashing pods or put chemicals in our mouths. And even if you look at warning labels today, they're all about don't ingest this on things like bleach containers, stuff like that. And at what point in time does an issue have to be reported? How many times does something have to be reported in order for you to slap a warning label on something? Like, for instance, like, say the Surgeon General's warning. So people have been smoking for decades before the Surgeon General slapped that warning on a pack of cigarettes, right?
Yep.
So at what point in time does a warning label have to be applied to a label based off of reports of incidents? So how many times did a certain number of people have to consume or ingest bleach in order for them to say, please don't drink bleach?
Mhm.
I'm just not understanding how all of
Yep.
this is happening.
So
So the items that you put in dishwater and mop water that you clean items with, you thought it was a good idea
Mhm.
to swallow.
Mhm.
To
But
me,
somebody told you to, or you
that's
just
a
thought of something be pretty.
yeah. I got a problem with the warning labels because especially when the Tide Pod situation happened. I'm like, I don't understand where those became edible to the point, and I don't know if they ever changed them because I don't buy the Tide Pods, but I know they were talking about changing the design of them or whatever so they would look less edible. I'm like, what the hell about a Tide Pod looks edible anyway?
Nothing. Exactly. Nothing
Right.
at all. Like really,
Nothing.
the Tide, so we know it's going to wash our clothes. What none of that looks edible. It serves its purpose, and we should know what it's for. I don't understand why you would want to put it in your mouth.
But
But that's
even
just
if
like
the
people
packaging,
doing that
even
bleach. Remember?
even if you consider the packaging, so you'll say a child doesn't know any better. It's just a little video and it's bright colored, blah blah blah. It's in the laundry room. At what point in time are food items in the laundry room
Right.
or under the sink? Anything under
Mm-hmm.
the sink should not be considered edible. Nothing
yeah,
under the sink
if it's not in the refrigerator or on top of the refrigerator,
or
yeah.
in a cabinet, a cupboard, but not under
Or
the
even
sink.
on the pantry, even on the little,
Just not under the sink. If it's under the sink, whether the kitchen or the bathroom, you don't need to ingest or consume or swallow or try or any of that if it's under a sink. That's common sense.
Yeah,
101.
and see, there are some people that are going to argue that it was in the cabinet,
As
and
long as it's not the cabinet under the sink. Nothing under the sink should be edible.
see, I don't. Yeah, I don't think anything that has the warning label on it like that should be consumed. Like you said, nothing.
What label or not, if it's under the sink, it should not be consumed.
Yeah.
Because what food product do you keep up under your kitchen or bathroom sink?
Mm-mm. None. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nah. Mm-mm. That would no. Mm-mm. None.
Right.
None.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to really you didn't have any more sense than to put a Tide Pod in your mouth.
I think, yeah, no, because people do. So people do goofy stuff like that all the time. It's just like these. They do it for dares. They do it for likes. They do it because other people are doing it. They do it for money. People just do stuff that they generally ain't supposed to do. If there's some sort of if they feel like there's some sort of a benefit or a reward at the end of it, is what I think when it comes to that.
Getting your stomach pumped should not be the reward you're looking for.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. It's a lot of food that I'm picky about that I don't eat. So you know I ain't eat no non-food items.
All right.
So for me, I think that one of my biggest ones has got to be what I call DAQs. Nothing irritates.
Don't ask questions.
Nothing irritates me more than a DAQ. Like something you know, you should already know the answer to this. So like, why are you asking me? Like, are you trying to be funny? Or, for example, the lady said, well, this is my mom. This is my mom. She's and the other girl said, is she older than you? Like, what kind of DAQ is that?
Didn't I just say that was my mama? The hell, she gotta be older than me. The hell, no, we twins.
Now that I understand, because what I was gonna say is that I was always raised that the only stupid question is one that you don't know the answer to. But I do agree there are some things that you should know the answer to, and I guess that has really resonated with me the older I got, and now I'm in corporate America, and we work in an environment where a lot of people are afraid to ask questions because you got somebody that's making them feel stupid for asking a question. But if you legitimately don't know, no question is stupid if you legitimately don't know. But in that situation where you introduce somebody as your mom, and nobody should be asking who's older. I mean, you know. So yeah, but yeah. That I would agree. To me, I was always raised that a stupid question is only the question you already know the answer to.
That's true. And you know, some people ask questions that they already know the answer to in certain situations to be funny or like gauge the other person.
Or catch somebody in a lie.
Yeah, for sure. But like when it's simple stuff like that, like stuff that I feel like you should definitely know, like you see me cooking and then you come in here and ask me what you doing cooking.
That does irritate me. That's why, and that irritates every parent, I'm sure.
That reminds me, when we were growing up, my brother used to. We could both walk in the living room together and turn on the TV. We're both flipping to the channel together. I'm flipping channels. It lands on something we want to watch. It could be on for 5 minutes, and he'll say, "Hey, what's this about?" I'm like, "Dude, I started watching the same time you started watching."
Yes. I was just about to say that when you watching the same movie with somebody and they ask you, "What's this about?"
Right, I know
I'm like,
just as
"Just
much as
like
you
you.
know.
I don't know."
Yeah, when we were younger, he used to do that all the time.
Listen,
I think
I
he
be
did it
getting
just to get on
upset.
our nerves though, because it was habitual.
Mm-hmm.
I I
Or
be
the
getting
fact that
upset, y'all. I be having to like bring it back in. Like, Rosanna, that's mean. Why would you think like that? Because why you gonna ask me that DAQ? It's different. I mean, even young, even even for young
I
people,
like Dairy
young
Queen. Why you gonna ask that DAQ? Is that I'm hungry?
people. I'm more lenient on it when it comes to young people because yeah, they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Some questions they just ask questions to be asked.
No.
They in that phase where they just ask a bunch of questions and it is what it is. You know, kids ask questions all the time. They want to know why about everything.
A million questions, you know it.
But for some, it's like don't do that because you know good and well that I didn't just say my dog was driving the car. Like
Right.
dogs don't even drive. Like stop that. Stop.
Or when people don't hear you, they be making up words. They be making up stuff. You be like, who? Why would I say that? What
I
what
mean,
made
now
you
that
say,
you know, because I be misinterpreting stuff that people say sometimes.
girl? Said what
But
the what the what? No, I ain't
I
nobody
definitely
say that.
thought you said something different last night. Remember, we was having this whole conversation. I definitely thought it was something different. However, I think that might be like a mindset thing too. So when you think a certain way, some words just automatically sound like something.
No matter what.
Yes.
Sound like it's all in the boat, no matter what.
In real life. It is a struggle bus for sure.
Oh shit.
What other I'm sorry, Nisi, for you, what do you think is like your biggest common sense peeve?
Mm, so many. But you know what? Honestly, one thing I don't know if people do it because they don't think to, you know how like when people be like, what time is it? And no, no one has, everyone has cell phones. Like everyone's looking at a cell phone in their hand. They be like, what time is it? But everyone's in their cell phone. So you kind of look like, huh? I mean, me personally, I just happen to just do it today. It's like, what time is it? But everybody's in our cell phones, and you just randomly say, what time is it? Like you ain't got your cell phone on you. What you mean? Like we all looking at our cell phones. What you mean? What time is it? Don't you got your cell phone? But my first response was, I don't know. Like I wasn't looking at the time, so my first response was, I don't know. But don't you got your cell phone on you in your hand? Why couldn't you look at the time? Maybe that's just common sense. We're all looking at our cell phone type of thing, but yeah, that
But
was
you
just
know where I think that comes from? I actually think that comes from how people use their phones. So if you don't use your phone 4 o'clock, like for instance, I know people who wear watches religiously. So if you don't use your phone 4 o'clock, or if you're only on your phone on social media habitually, or you're checking emails, responding to a text message, and that's literally what you're doing on your cell phone 90% of the time. I think because habitually they don't look at it as 4 o'clock or for timekeeping purposes, that might be why it doesn't come natural to them to actually look at their phone when they want to know what time it is.
The whole thing was spiked because I was sick.
yes.
Yeah, I really think that's where that comes from. It's not really out of sight, out of mind, but out of sight, out of mind. If you don't use it for that, I guess it's not, you don't think about using it for that. But yeah, but everybody should know that your phone has a clock on it. The text message that you responded to had a time on it. Roxy, are you muted?
I definitely was. I wasn't. I was actually doing something else for real for a hot second. Now, no, I told y'all I was cooking before we got started. I got to make sure my humans eat. Don't be like that.
I make sure my humans eat. She's the alien lady.
I'm over here like that. So ain't nobody gonna answer the phone. Y'all see me over here. Y'all know I'm on this stream. I'm trying not to make my lips move for real. Okay. Because I'm on this stream and I don't want to cut my camera off and then disappear for 2 seconds so I can start yelling. But yeah,
I hear you.
they over here pushing it.
Hey, if they burn up dinner, then hey, so be it.
Why
Yes.
you do that?
Then they go.
So be it. Because common sense should have told you to go check on that food that was in that kitchen.
What? I was just about to say common sense should told you get your butt up and hey, you smell it, you better go check it.
I'm just saying.
You smell it, go check it, homie. You know what it is. Them kids know that smell. Hey, it's smelling done. Okay, now it's smelling done.
See,
All right,
only
it's smelling done. It's
That's
smelling
something
burnt
that a lot
now.
of people- That's something that a lot of people don't know. If you're in the house and you start cooking, if you never leave out of the house, when you start smelling the food, 9 times out of 10, it's done when you start smelling. That doesn't work if you leave the house and come back in. But if you remain at home when you start cooking, if you're baking cookies, the second you smell those cookies, take them out. The second you smell that cake, take it out. 9 times out of 10, it's done when you smell it if you have remained in the home the entire time you were cooking. Just a life hack or helpful tip.
Yeah,
So
that's
we want to
really
be trying out chicken breast.
Right.
Right.
Common
So
for
because
everybody.
everyone who complains that they don't eat chicken breast because they dry, y'all left it in the oven past the smell test. Because chicken breast ain't dry when it's cooked right.
It's not.
Not at all.
It's not.
Not at all.
Boobies.
So what about
No. Huh?
what?
Now I was gonna say one of my worst though is behind the wheel. So I've always said that just because you have a driver's license, own a vehicle, and transport yourself to and from work does not mean you know how to drive. If you don't drive for everybody on the road, if you are not a defensive driver, you don't know how to drive. So one of my biggest pet peeves in this whole common sense conversation is people went on the freeway. So every road in America's got a speed limit, right? And especially now, since we have so many people migrating from other places in Texas. So Texas has some abnormally high speed limits on a lot of our roadways. There are some parts of our freeway that's 75 miles an hour. And a lot of places don't have speed limits that high. So you move here from a place that has a speed limit of 55 in the freeway, and now you're on our freeways in the fast lane doing 57 miles an hour. So the thing about the driving, common sense thing, I get it. There's a posted speed limit. If the speed limit is 70, the speed limit is 70. However, you can only regulate your speed. You can't regulate mine. You can't regulate the guy in front of you. You can't regulate anybody's speed but yours. But the rule they seem to be missing out on and the common sense part is that slower traffic keep to the right. So that means on a 4, 5, 6 lane highway, if you're in any lane that's not the right lane and a car passes you on the right side, you're in the wrong damn lane. You need to get over to the right. That's how that works. It doesn't matter what speed you're doing. It doesn't matter what the speed limit is. Slower traffic, stay to the right. So if you get passed on the right, you're in the wrong lane and you need to merge to the right. That is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Generally, there's a sign there that says that. Okay.
Everywhere. But you know what? It's because people don't get tickets for it. That's all that is. Nobody gets a ticket for not abiding by that law, but it's posted all up and down the freeway. Just as often as you see the speed limit, you see that slower traffic to the right. All the time.
Yeah,
but nobody wants to follow. You think because you're doing 65 in a 65 in the fast lane that you're supposed to be okay. But if someone passes you on the right, please get over to the right and let people who want to drive. Because if I'm going to get a ticket, that's on me. It has nothing to do with you.
Yes. See, driving in general is, But
it's not a lot of it's not a lot of common sense on the road. It's like people act like they don't understand the purpose of blinkers. Blinkers aren't for you, they're for everybody else on the road.
Yep. Pretty much.
Say that. Put the damn blinker on so I know which way your ass going. Left, right? What?
Definitely don't just swoop
And
over
remember, sometimes you might need to turn that. Exactly. And remember, sometimes you need to turn that shit off. You ain't made that turn. You ain't gonna make that turn. Turn that shit off. Don't forget that motherfucker going. It ain't my fault your car don't have that ding ding ding. You know what I'm saying? When you leave the shit on long enough, most cars do.
This one might not be common sense, but it's a helpful tip and it should be common sense. Please do not ride continuously in somebody's blind spot. We all know what a blind spot is, I hope, since we're talking about common sense. So if you get over on the freeway and you're behind a car, you get over to the left or to the right, and you don't necessarily pass them, you just inch up a little bit, and you remain in that blind spot for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes, or however long you're in their blind spot. That person may forget that you're over there. Please stop riding in people's blind spots. Either pass them or slow down, but don't stay in nobody's blind spot. That's crazy. I never understood why people drove like that. And I guess it's just not common sense to drive for everybody else on the road. But stay out of people's blind spots, just driving in their blind spot.
That's another one of those things. It's got the warning label attached, though, because they teach you that when you go to take your driver's test, even if you didn't go to driver's school, they will tell you that you have to watch the road for you and everybody else that's on the road. So please be mindful of people that's driving around you. Out here in Columbus, it's tough.
Man, it's tough everywhere. I've driven on roads all across this country and in other countries and other continents. It's rough everywhere. People do not. Now, Europe has some of the better drivers, but people do not know how to drive.
Don't they drive on the other side of the street there, though?
It all depends on where you are.
That's the problem with the people that come over there that's been Europeanized. They come over to America and they ride on the wrong side of the street. They so used to driving on the wrong side of the street. So then when they crisscross, you're like, wait a minute.
That all depends on where you are. Everywhere is not like that. But changing the side of the road
ones that been Europeanized. Right, but that's only the ones that's been Europeanized, because there's a lot of ones in Africa. You'd be like, wait a minute. I thought you got colonized by a certain. No, if they're Europeanized, they are literally driving on the wrong side of the street. Like, that's just what it is. And sometimes they do even more of that, of wrong side driving. Like, everybody is right, left, everybody the wrong way. You be like, really, y'all? Really? This is how we drive? Yeah.
Right.
They just all build up sometimes. Like, is this for real?
Yeah, so people
and you be thinking it's just on TV.
Yeah, exercise common sense.
But sometimes, like, you be like, oh, okay, that's only on a movie. You see all them crowds, cars going each way, every way, all in each other's way.
No, those are roundabouts. Those are real. Those are real roundabouts. I've been on plenty of them. And they really are.
And annoying.
That's why I said you drive a little different over there. It's different for us to get accustomed to, but those people know how to maneuver through traffic with no lanes in the road or no speed limits.
None. No, what? Say it. No lanes, no speed limits, cars, buses, bicycles, multiple people on bicycles. They be getting it, man. Everybody got their own little lane.
But yeah, exercise common sense behind the wheel. When you get behind the wheel, you need to exercise some common sense.
And sometimes common courtesy is okay too.
But you know what? That's nothing that bothers me. When you're courteous to a flaw. So you could be driving down the road and you have the right of way. There are other cars coming from a T intersection that have a stop sign or a yield sign or whatever the case may be. I know people that have stopped the right way traffic just to let you in. So you impacted everybody else behind you because you're courteous to a flaw. Or to a fault. This individual does not have the right of way. They have a stop sign. They have a yield sign. You're not supposed to be stopping this flow of traffic to let them get in front of you. And 9 times out of 10, that person's not paying attention because they're not expecting you to let them in. Mm-hmm. So now you really backed up traffic because you didn't came to a screeching halt while you're trying to frantically wave them over because you want to make sure that they see you being generous. So when it comes to driving, don't be generous to a fault that you impact the right of way traffic. That's not how driving is supposed to go. If you got the right of way, you got the right of way. I understand that zipper concept. But this ain't always about a zipper concept. Sometimes y'all will stop. You can have somebody who's crossing like a trespass, not a trespasser, a pedestrian crossing the street, right? But you're maybe making a turn or you're going down the street, they're trying to cross or whatever the case may be. The person walking, by the time they get to the corner of the sidewalk, your car could have driven way past them. But you'll stop just to let this person scurry in front of you who you wouldn't have impacted had you just kept going at this posted speed limit that you were going in the first place. So when you're courteous to a fault, it's a problem when you're behind the wheel because the person behind you is not expecting you to stop because y'all have the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
So we need more common sense behind the wheel. Much more. Because if I was giving away licenses, public transportation would be through the roof. Because a lot of y'all have laminated bus passes and not driver's license.
Not
I'm just saying. Yes,
laminated. That means you have extra money to make sure you ain't gonna mess this up to make it last forever.
Right. I'm giving out laminated bus passes. I promise you. Because if you don't drive for you on the road, if you only drive for you, you have no business being behind the wheel. There are too many lives at risk behind the road. It's too much power behind the road. It's too much high speed, too much metal, too much everything for you to only be driving for yourself. Like the one guy, you saw the sign on the freeway that said the right lane closed next 2 miles. You saw that sign 2 miles back just like me. But you want to zip up here in front of everybody else to try to get that top spot. Now you on the freeway doing 75 miles an hour trying to squeeze up to the front and got to slam on your brakes because there's a line back here that's 2 blocks long. And now you can impact the people on the freeway from driving because you want to try to squeeze up here to the front and got to come to a screeching halt. So one person being selfish, they don't want to be late when you could have left the house a little bit earlier. Now you've impacted multiple people behind you and could have potentially caused an accident. So yeah, driving common sense, but not having common sense behind the wheel, one of my biggest pet peeves.
I mean, I'm slightly guilty of that sometimes.
People need to stop being selfish on the road. The road behind the wheel is no place to be selfish. It's not.
No,
You can't be selfish behind the wheel. You got to drive for everybody else. We all trying to get home.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
I felt
that's
You should have felt attacked if you did. Because if you're trying to get over in front of me, baby, you'll run over every cone out here before you get over in front of me. Because you saw that sign just like I did.
I'll tear them cones down.
You surely will because you won't get in front of me.
not bad. Not bad.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I go only speed limit. I slow down. I don't even like taking the freeway. I stay off of it. I take the streetway. Boom, boom.
Nisi, you're generally a safe. You're a safe driver anyway.
Gas guzzler.
Yeah, you know why? Because people like to try to play Crash Bandicoot with my damn life with their crazy asses, not knowing how to drive, not being patient at the light, not waiting on their turn.
But hold on, high as gas is, you're not getting on the freeway? Man, ain't no way.
It's good. I ain't gotta go that far. No, hey, you twisted. I ain't going that far. If you know me, I ain't going that far. No,
ride down Woodland until you ride down Greenway until you get to Broad Street.
I ain't nowhere. I'm on what zigzag, left, right. Ooh, boop, boop. There we go. Hey, bet I ain't. Or somebody gonna give me a ride. I've been known to get rides. I don't care what you say. Yes, I got a license, but I'm okay. I don't mind getting a ride.
You want to
I've been traumatized. Yes, man. No, I can't do no bus pass now. Wait a minute. It's too many. Honey.
Girl, let me find out.
That was in my younger years.
That was enough to get on that freeway.
Too many people. I ain't making it. I just ain't gonna make it. That's one of them call-ins. I ain't gonna make it.
Because you had to ride the bus.
Ain't got no ride.
Oh, you
Ain't got no ride. Gonna get me.
that mug come right in the back of your building. Oh, yeah, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that. No. Yeah,
Right,
ain't
you
gonna
know,
do
I
it.
ain't gonna do this. I'm not gonna make it. I'm cool. As long as you know, I'm good. It
So
ain't for
what if
everybody.
I can't even get on the bus if I wanted to because it ain't none over here by my house. I'm better.
Right.
What about because I was I was watching a TV series and one of the comments that they made was that people know that you're not supposed to go outside naked, right? And I got to thinking, your common sense would tell you you're not supposed to go outside nude with no clothes on. But I got to thinking about the society that we live in, and I feel like it's plenty of people that don't follow that rule when it comes to this world that we live in. Because I didn't see plenty of nipples
What you
hanging
looking at? Streakers?
out, and
Are streakers
Right. That's
still
what
in
I'm saying.
style?
Streakers.
no,
That people still do that?
Yes,
no.
still in style.
Listen.
People
I
get
see
naked.
this girl had on a whole outfit that was see through with nothing else up under it, like she didn't know it was see
Hold
through.
on, but that's not. It's considered nudity, but it's not considered naked.
It's new to me. I mean,
It's
new.
considered nudity, but it's not considered naked.
You might as well be.
I mean, I'm just saying.
She should have just listen.
Hey,
Hey,
some people just like to be free. Maybe they came from a place that maybe she's a nudist and she came from a nudist column. Who knows? Or he.
Oh,
Who knows? You
that,
know what I'm saying?
but it's illegal.
I mean, hey, everybody doesn't
you can
understand
wear
all.
your
Everybody
boobs
don't know
out.
all the laws. Everybody don't know all the laws, right? You know what? But that's another thing. Where you live, you really need to familiarize yourself with the laws in the city, county, and state where you live. Like seriously, seriously,
Yes.
seriously. I don't understand how people don't know about
Wherever you
laws in
live
their
at.
city, state, or county, or zip code, or whatever the case may be. I don't get that at all.
I mean,
They
that's
didn't
like
care.
Even if you don't, even if it's not about the actual rule in and of itself. All rules have loopholes. I
Mm-hmm.
always say there's no such thing as a rule because all rules have loopholes. There's an exception to every rule. So if there's an exception, that means there
Right.
really aren't rules. You just have to find that loophole that allows you to get away with it. So, but you don't know what those
Right.
loopholes are if you don't even know what the rules are.
that's
Exactly.
true. That's true.
That's
But
why everybody mad at Trump about his tax return. Just because he got access to people who can do his taxes and get him all those write-offs, don't be mad. I didn't understand why everybody was upset with him. I'm trying to figure out how I cannot pay taxes. I'm not mad. I'm trying to figure out can I do that too? Instead of being mad, I'm trying to get on that level. I don't want to pay taxes either.
girl, call me, girl. I got you. Oh,
And, or you know what I said, reparations. I'll take tax free for the next 400 years.
listen.
And
We
I'm just saying.
we
They
not because we make sure that we cover every base when it comes to the taxes and the tax laws. You definitely have to know the laws, like you
Right.
said, so that you can utilize the loopholes that are available to you in order to be able to pay as least taxes as you can that you have to. Yeah,
All the opportunity comes.
that is a real thing. What?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of money, this is something that I don't think people associate with common sense. So when your bills come in every month, your credit card bills or whatever, if your credit card bill, if the minimum payment is $110 and you send 85, because maybe that's all you got. A lot of people don't know that anything less than the minimum payment is still considered a missed payment.
Yeah, buddy.
A lot of people don't know that.
It
So
is.
it don't matter if you sent them $1, $15, $109. If it wasn't 110, if it was not the minimum payment, it's still considered a missed payment. You might as well have kept that money in your pocket. I'm not saying don't pay your bills, but what I am saying is anything less than the minimum payment is a missed payment on your credit report.
And try to pay it off, y'all. I mean, I know this ain't
Like I say,
this is
try to
not
make
necessarily a common sense thing because it's not something that everybody knows, but you pay interest on the balance that you leave remaining on that card every month. It rolls over off of that card every month. So if you're not paying the card off every month, you're doing nothing more than tacking that interest on to the payment. And if you got a $500 balance that's rolling off of there every month, then and your interest rate 20%, then you paying at least $600 every time, and then that's gonna increase every time. Next month it'll be $720.
Right. And you don't understand why that minimum payment ain't your credit card bill ain't going down. It's not going down because that minimum payment, 85% of that minimum payment is going towards the interest. That other 15% is going towards your bill. So that means when the next month cycles around, they're going to charge you interest on that last month bill you had minus them $15 instead of that $115 check you sent.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you leave rolling is what they gonna charge you on.
And they gonna roll it right on over to you.
So speaking of that, we got to make sure we are aware of everything that goes on our stuff. That's our credit cards, our credit card emails, our messages. Make sure it's coming from the right people. People getting scammed nowadays. They getting them fake ones from different credit card companies saying it's their regular credit card and have them sign in on a fake website. Now they got all your information. Y'all better pay attention.
Man, scammers are crazy nowadays. But you know what's crazy? The part about that should be common sense is throughout decades now. We've all heard stories about grandma getting scammed by somebody sending her an email saying, "Hey, you send us $500, we'll send you 20,000," stuff like that. We have heard multiple stories like this. How are we still falling for these scams? Because if you're going to send me a $20,000 check, but I got to send you 500, common sense ought to tell you, well, why don't you just send me that 15.5? And we call it even. Send me the 15.5 and we even. That's how you respond to them. Send me the 15.5 and we'll just call it even. I'm sorry, 19.5. My bad.
Cause look, I'm over here like cause I'm gonna need.
Yeah, just send me the 19.5.
They said that's the part. That's the shipping fee or whatever it is that costs for them to be able to wire the money.
Take it out of the check. Take it out of the money you're going to wire me, and we're all good. I guarantee you, every time they'll say, "Well, we can't do that." Well, I don't need that money because everything that glitters is not gold. But we keep hearing these stories, and we keep falling for. I'm not understanding how any of this happened. When I'm that 70, 80-year-old woman, I don't know if you just lose something or you forget about the stories you heard when you were younger, but I promise you, I don't want to be that 80-year-old woman that's getting scammed out of her life savings.
It be so, I think for the older people, it's usually stuff like the IRS scams. People were calling and they were acting like they were the IRS and saying that older people hadn't filed their tax returns and hadn't paid on their taxes and that they owed this money or they was going to take their life savings and belongings in order to be able to cover the bill if they didn't send in this $300. So I've had a couple elderly people that went on ahead and hurried up and sent the money in to the people thinking that it was the IRS sending them a nasty message when in fact the IRS never calls you ever. They never call you. They send a letter. They will send you a letter. They will never send you an email. They will never. Right. That is not happening. It's not the IRS. And they don't know that. They don't know the means of communication that the IRS have. So they hear something important like that and they automatically just assume that they in trouble and hurry up and get out of the trouble that they in. But the publishers clearing house users, and you
But
want
you
to
know the solution to that? So if you get a random phone call or a random text, that's first. Please don't answer any of those crazy texts from people you don't know, because there's a lot of scams going on right now. But if you get a phone call from a creditor, from the IRS, or somebody who, you know, is saying something crazy, you got to send this money now, you got to give us an account number, give us this, tell them I'm busy and I'm going to call you right back. Then what you do, if it's your creditor, pick up that credit card, look at that 1-800 number on the back and call that number. If they send you an email, don't click on any links in that email. If you get an email from Capital One Bank and they say, hey, you owe this, or you got to open this up, click on this link and we'll send you a check. Instead of responding to that email, go to CapitalOne.com, to the official website, and log into your account. That way you can eliminate all of that. So any creditor, whatever, calling you, tell them you'll call them right back and pick up that phone and call that 1-800 number on the back of your credit card or on your billing statement.
Yes, please.
Or go directly to the website. But don't click on any links, because even in emails now, they've gotten so good now that they know how to make the emails look like they come from authentic, real banks. It happened with PayPal a while back. So PayPal has a crazy email address, website. Like, I don't know if it's PayPal you or something crazy. Well, somebody sent out all these crazy mock emails from something Pay You Pal or something, but it looked at first glance, skimming, it looked just like an authentic email address from PayPal. Well, they were saying that, hey, you know, we owe you this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. You log into this account, but they're all scams. So yeah, if you get hit with one of them scammers, you call the 1-800 number that's on your credit card or your bank statement. You get on the laptop and go to that website. Do not click on any links in any emails or any text, and do not provide any personal information over the phone, period.
So, what she said. I have it wasn't nothing else I could say behind that part. That, please. I think it's more of a question, because I kind of want to know what you ladies think about this. So, you know, back in our day, we were born to be respectful. We were taught to be respectful, to be good to one another, to not disrespect our elders, to make sure that we close the screen door so that the bugs wouldn't fly in. We got fussed at about that kind of stuff. Do you think that things like common courtesy, does it say it's common, you know, so like things like saying please, thank you, and I'm sorry, do you think those are things that should be considered common sense things nowadays?
Yep.
I honestly think that those things are actually taught to children, but I think they're easily forgotten because of the environment that we live in. So and we're going to go with single motherism. And so that's another thing that should be common sense. Single motherism is not goals. It can happen to you and you should be the best single mother you can, but single motherism is not goals.
One more again.
Single motherism is not goals.
Thank you. Hear me now.
You should not be striving. You should not be striving for single motherism. If it happens, you make the best of a situation. But we should not be looking for single motherism at all. But I think what happened
was on that podcast, D.
What was that?
Remember that podcast that you had told me to go and take a look at the other day?
Oh, yeah.
So he was talking about the women buying houses and how they were basically fooling themselves into believing that it was okay to be a single parent, and women
that's the
are
narrative.
thriving out here because they're taking on the role of a two-family household, and not saying that, you know, they can't do
or
it, but
two-income should be a two-income household.
That's what I mean.
Right.
What did I say?
But I think what happens is, as our children are young, the 2, the 3, the 4-year-olds, I think a lot of people do teach their children to say thank you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. I think that's common, but I think it's lost because when you're taught that as a 3-year-old boy, but at 8-year-old, you're watching your mama twerk on Instagram or on TikTok, I think the respect boundary gets diluted. And I think you lose what you've been taught because what you see has override what you've heard. And actions always speak louder than words. You can tell me everything all day long, but your actions are saying something else. And you always believe actions over verbal commands or verbal any kind of communication. Actions speak louder than words. So even if you're taught that, I think it's so easy to lose it because of the environment we're in. And how do you respect women when you grow up watching your mama have an OnlyFans account? How does that boy grow up to be the man that holds the door open for girls? How?
That's true.
He's gonna learn how to hold the camera for you.
That's definitely
Okay.
Let me hold the camera for us. I mean, let me get the camera right.
It's not okay. I definitely think that would be an example, a lead by example based scenario. Like you said, I think that children are taught respect and manners from the beginning, and if you aren't taught those things, then it makes it harder for you to be able to exhibit those things later on in life as an adult. It makes it more difficult for you to be able to teach other people. Part of me was thinking that it seems like it should be a common sense thing, but it's a struggle when it's a taught or a learned behavior, so to speak. So that's why I asked you these out to see, what your thoughts were on it. Nisi, what do you think?
I'm thinking it's a little bit of both, like both of y'all said. Yes, it is a taught behavior. It is also a learned behavior. There's a lot of women and a lot of parents that try to instill that in their babies very young, because that's what, with the learning the words and the vocabularies and building on their wordplay. That's how they're learning, when you say yes, no, no ma'am, yes ma'am, and doing all that. But I wouldn't say it's not. We're beginning to be angry people. It's just always rah, rah, rah. So it breaks that common courtesy. It breaks that whole bond of having a common courtesy or having a respect and having, just anything positive really to say to people, because we're just so rah, rah. We're if it's not the social media putting it into your brain, it's the TV putting it into your brain, it's the environment, the lack of, the non-having, the not having, the missing out on, or not having, or missing out on someone. So I kind of think it's like a big bundle, a roll of, everything, snowball effect of why we don't have, or why we're losing the whole common courtesy type of thing. It's like a snowball effect, connected to the single motherism and the independent lady thing. And you know what I'm saying? It's all like a snowball effect. I don't have time for my kids, but I had time to make them. I ain't got time for them because I'm so busy trying to provide for them, and I want to provide the best for them, and I want to do this and this and that. So regardless of their education, I'm gonna make sure they got this and this and that physically, and forget the other part that I got to pour into them because I'm trying to provide, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of all get kind of washed away and washed out. And I know I sound like, again, I'm going back to it takes a village, man, because for real, these kids they be missing out. I noticed they missing out on some things. When they come to school, they just missing out on just that TLC. So we got to learn how to put all that independent, I could do this by myself. It's only me, and it takes a village. Work with people, lean on some people, learn how to trust and work with people, so we can start getting that common courtesy, that cooperative working together, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling about it. Like, we lost it, but we can get it back by trying to like shift our focus a little bit.
Appreciate that, World Class. They are one of my faves. Appreciate that.
So what about things like cleaning up after yourself, bathing,
brushing your teeth,
washing your hands after you use the bathroom?
Hygiene definitely is not something that is practiced the same everywhere. I feel you on that. Yeah, hygiene. Everybody don't have the same hygiene levels.
I mean, but do we look at that as like a taught behavior, or is that something that like you should know? You go in the bathroom and you shake, shake, shake. You need to wash your hands. Like,
Well, but hold
Right.
on. So that could be a lot of different things. One, it could be that it's not being taught, but why is it not being taught? So okay, so let's talk. Okay, so one of the things that I was in a discussion about, should boys be circumcised, and all of the women who want to circumcise boys now, most of them have the same argument. A lot of it's not religious like it used to be. They don't. It's the whole thing about him being clean and hygiene. But if he's taught how to properly clean himself, but as a single mother who's never known what foreskin feels like, knows how to clean, how how do you teach that to a boy? So it's easy for a single mother to have her child circumcised because that's one of the things she has to deal with. So as a mom, even though we can teach our sons how to use the bathroom, no different from a father teaching a daughter how to go to the bathroom, there are
Mhm.
stages in life that get to a point where those children pull away from the opposite sex parents. Like when a
Mhm.
young girl is having her menstrual cycle, she can have the best relationship with her father, but she doesn't necessarily want to go to her father for that. So if that's who she resides with and she doesn't have a female role model to teach her about how to proper hygiene when it's that time of the month, or teaching people properly about how to wipe. Matter of fact, did y'all see the video where the teacher was actually teaching the kids how to wipe their butts? So what she did was she took two balloons and she taped them to the back of a chair, a little chair, and she had the students sit in it, and she showed them how to wipe in between the crack of the balloons and the, from front to
I
back,
know
all of
that's
it, right?
right.
Do you know there was actually a woman? So it was a video that was posted on social media. There was actually a woman I saw in the comments that said she's teaching them wrong. No, boys don't wipe front to back. I said, well, hold on. You're talking about so the motion was this, from under to up. So I
Yeah.
said, I get it that boys don't wipe front to back, but if you start here and go here, the motion is still the same. So if you
Yes.
don't teach them front to back, are you teaching them back to front? Nobody should wipe back to front.
What?
She actually said that she's teaching them wrong. I'm like, oh, how do you teach a child to wipe
No,
their
it's front to
ass?
back.
It's front to back.
Regardless what you got, I ain't never
So
had none of that. But I'm just saying, if you got that, you still got to wipe front to back because that's just
right.
it.
So it could be that we're not teaching them, we don't know how to, or we don't know any better. But it also could be cultural, because I've lived overseas before. Everybody doesn't believe in certain things. So what I would consider hygiene, deodorant is part of my hygiene ritual. Other countries
Say that.
don't believe in deodorant. So
No, they do
it
not.
might, it's in that situation, it's not about a common sense, it's just cultural. But to American being over there and having the pungent smell of thousands of people around you not wearing deodorant, it's a little different.
It's wrong.
So
It's
sometimes,
wrong.
yeah, I think sometimes it's about not being taught or not comment how to take care of yourself, practice proper hygiene. But a lot of it is about culture clashes and not necessarily not having proper hygiene. But a lot of it is culture clashes, and a lot of it is sometimes those smells come from your diets too.
that's true. That is true.
It's
And the way that
wrong.
people prepare food.
Right.
There are certain cultures that don't even put their food in the refrigerator.
What?
Something that I learned. Yeah, I learned. So I have a summer camp program that I run for the kids, and we do a different culture every week. So some cultures take their food and they dig it up in the backyard and they bury it.
Really?
Yep, they bury their food. They don't use normal refrigerators. They just cover it up real well and they bury it. And then when they want something to eat, they go out in the backyard and dig it up and cook it and eat it. I was thinking that I was under the impression that like it would spoil. Like, who gonna eat some food that's been buried up under the ground and bugs? But I guess in their culture, that's
Now,
what
see,
to do.
the only thing I know of like that is like the Hawaiians. They roast those pigs in the ground, but they're
Yep.
cooking the food in the ground. They're not storing it thereafter. At least I don't think so. But yeah, they actually cook the pig in the ground. But as far as storing it, I did not know that. I did not know that people did that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a culture that actually buries their food and goes out there in the backyard, digs it up like old dead bones, and cooks it and eat it.
Yeah,
So,
that's interesting.
yeah. So when you
The
talk about
temperature down there must be pretty cool.
yeah, it is. Yep. And that because I was definitely like,
It couldn't be where it's hot. It has to be where that climate is probably cool, so they can put it in the ground where it's gonna stay. Especially if they're probably covering it up. Probably ain't got no
I
animals
would hope
eating
they're
on that.
covering it
They
up.
watching
I would
that
hope
stuff
they're
too.
covering it up.
yeah,
I would hope they're
they
covering it up
bury
before they're covering it with dirt.
They,
I mean, I would just think. I would think that was.
up, and then they bury it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
They package it up and then they bury it. So in line with that thinking, what do you think about other things like not covering your mouth when you sneeze?
Oh my God.
Or chew,
Oh
talking
my
when you
God.
chew.
When you
But
chew,
yeah, that's not common sense. I don't believe.
is
Yeah,
that
I don't think that's common sense.
Cover your
So-
mouth. Cough, sneeze, pass germs. That's what you're stopping. What
Not
y'all
saying
put your hand in?
you
Right.
pass gas?
Or, but hold on. I know people that'll cover their mouth with their hand and reach out to shake yours right after. I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Keep your hand to yourself. Keep your hand to your good. That's what he's like. Keep your hand to yourself.
Yeah.
No.
Hey,
Not
hey,
that.
what
Touch you on
COVID
the shoulder.
Right.
taught us was that a lot of y'all is nasty. COVID taught us a lot of y'all nasty.
Yeah, because see,
I'm just saying.
if you go in that bathroom and you don't wash them hands, and you come out of that bathroom, don't touch me. Yeah, no, I don't. We're gonna have a problem. I don't know.
And you know what? For the people who do that in public, I don't know. That rubs me a different kind of way because what you do in public, you're 1,000 times worse at home in private.
That's
So
what
if
I'm
you
saying.
are going to a public restroom, knowing somebody else is in here, and wipe, flush, touch the doorknobs and all that nonsense in a public bathroom, and walk out of there without washing your hands. I can't trust nothing.
Or candle.
Nothing about you.
Nah.
Nothing about you. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Ooh, that is so real. That is
I
so
don't want
real.
nothing to drink.
So, I mean,
I don't even want none of your dishes.
there's a lot of things that I'm peevish about. Say, what about people that decide that they're gonna throw something away and they miss the trash can and they leave it on the floor?
Who does that?
Like, why would you do that?
I don't know who do that.
There's people that do it.
My kids tried that today. They tried that. They dropped something and
I'm
looked at me like I was.
for it.
But it's children, though. Children don't like to clean up. I'm talking about a whole adult, whether you like cleaning up or not. I don't. Okay, I
Man,
don't like cleaning up either. I don't like doing laundry. I don't like sweeping floors. I don't like it, but I do it because
don't
I
like
prefer a
paying bills.
clean house more than I hate cleaning up. I prefer a clean house more than I hate cleaning up.
That.
So an adult that would see food or anything that belongs in the trash can hit the floor and just
Oops, and gone on ahead and go.
yeah, I don't know people who do stuff like that.
I mean,
I don't fool with them. They might exist, but I don't fool with them.
we're just talking about common sense stuff. What about people that chew their gum and then stick it on the side of their plate instead of throwing it away?
Because you want to come back and chew it later. Because I can't say that I haven't been guilty of that. As long as it's my plate. Now, I won't do that out at no restaurant. At home, I might do that. I've been guilty of that. As long as it's my plate, though, I'm good with it.
What about
listen,
if if you
always
don't
snatching
plan on going
somebody
back?
else's
What if you
stuff.
don't plan on going back?
What'd you
Huh?
say, Nisa?
Oh no, I was saying I'm always guilty of wanting to try something, wanting to eat something. So yes, that's me. I'm one that will put some chewing gum on my plate to try something. Like, oh, that's
Yeah,
good. Oh, let me
I'll
try
do
some of
that.
this. Okay, give my gum back. I want my gum.
Right,
I
because
wasn't
I can
done chewing
chew
my gum. Give
because I'll
my gum
chew a
back.
stick of gum all day long. So if I have to interrupt my gum chewing for a meal, I'll put that piece of gum back in my mouth.
Yes,
Especially if I
yes.
don't have, if that was my last stick of gum, yeah, I'll do that. I'll definitely,
Give my gum back.
I will recycle my gum. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what my mom used to say. You gonna recycle your gum? Give my gum back. Give my
word
gum
up,
back. I wasn't
word
done
up.
chewing
I'll
it.
recycle my
I just
gum.
wanted to taste something in between your hand. I would wash it down with something and then put my gum back in my mouth. Give my gum. Give my gum.
Right. Hey, but I got one that ought to be common sense. Anybody that works in retail or you have cashiers, I don't understand how it's not common sense to hire cashiers that actually know how to add without the use of a calculator. Any individual that cannot subtract any amount of cents from a whole dollar has no business ringing anybody up.
A whole
No
cent
business.
from a dollar.
So
Right.
many
Or
people.
80 cents. If something costs 83 cents and I give you $1, you should need this machine to tell you that you owe me 17 cents back.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna
Yes,
tell you,
they
they
Let
look
do.
at
me
me
tell you
so
what happened.
foreign.
So I was at a grocery store one day, right? And I was shopping and I forgot what the dollar amount came to, but the change was like 72 cents. So I was trying to actually get rid of some change in my purse. So I said, I'll tell you what, since I want to get rid of some change, I'm going to give you the 72 cents and I'm going to put the whole dollar amount on my debit card. So I gave her the 72 cents. She did whatever she did on that cash register. And then she said, okay, go ahead and swipe your card. Well, when I got ready to swipe my card, you know how I have the balance on there. Well, the balance says 72 cents. I said, hey, I think you did something wrong. She said, no, 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 no. Go ahead and swipe. I said, no, this thing is saying 72 cents. I think you did something wrong. She said, no, go ahead and swipe. So I'm not going to argue with the food. I'm going to go ahead and swipe. So I swiped my card. Once I got my receipt, now I had literally bought like $60, $70 worth of groceries. I don't remember what the exact dollar amount was. But once I got my receipt, she had actually typed in that I gave her the cash for the dollar amount. So the 72 cents I gave her is what was charged on my card. So I literally gave this woman 72 cents in change and she charged my card 72 cents. So I walked out of there paying $1.44 for about $60, $70 worth of groceries because idiots. I don't know why y'all hire cashiers who do not understand basic math. I don't get that. I had another one that
Because they don't give out math assessments.
hey, this chick owed me like $4 and some change. Well, I didn't want 4 singles. So since I had a single in my wallet, I said, well, here, let me give you this single and you give me a 5 back. And she looked at the one like, what am I supposed to do with this? I said, well, I just want a whole bill back. She said, well, what do you mean? I owe you $4. I know. I'm giving you 1 so that you can give me a solid 5. And she looked at the cash register like that number, like that math wasn't mathing. And then she turned around and said, well, once we put in the amount, we can't change it. I said, oh, you mean you can't do math? Because if you owe me $4 and I give you a 1, that means I gave you 1 more than you owed me. So you can give me a solid 5. She did not understand that for the life of me. And I don't understand how we have cashiers who do not know simple math and ringing people up. Because a lot of y'all getting shorted at the retail stores. I'm just saying.
What you should have did was allow her to give you the $4, then you turn around and give it to her back with the other dollar and say, here go $5. Give me a $5 bill now. And that's how
You had the register already closed.
like that. Actually, you laughing at me because you know I would do that to somebody. Like
You'd had to reopen that register. That's the part. They do me like that at the gas station all the time because I always, when I go to the store, I always use exact change. If I'm using my card, I'm always going to use the exact change. I'm going to tell you the difference between what it is that I purchase and how much my gas costs so that I can get to the exact amount I'm trying to spend. And they always be like, oh, you can count. Oh, you can.
Like you can't?
not you can count. No, you play with me.
Like, why?
If you can't subtract pennies from $1, you have no business ringing up anybody for anything.
They be
Period.
serious too. Like, oh my God, you're so good.
Right. Man, they don't get. You know what else ain't common sense? So I don't do fast food often, but when I do, but I always drink water. I don't drink sodas and juices and all this stuff. I'm 98% of what I put in my mouth liquid is water. So anytime I go to fast food, it doesn't matter what I order, I'm going to order water for my drink. So I don't even remember where I was. And they was like, well, what do you want with your drink? I said, water. So when I got up to the window, the price was a little higher. And I was like, hold on, I think you overcharged me. And so I looked at the receipt and they charged me for a bottled water. I said, I don't want a bottled water. I just want water in my cup. And they said, well, you asked for water. I said, I know I asked for water. I want water in my cup. She said, well, we sell bottled water, but I don't care about your bottled water. I want that plastic cup or that styrofoam cup that comes with my meal. And instead of putting soda in it, I want you to hit that water button. And she said, but water's free. Tougher, I know that. But I don't want your sodas. I don't care. I get that the water. So if the water was free, why were you trying to charge me for a bottled water? But if I give it to you in a cup, it's free. Then check this out. Then when she finally understood what I was asking for, she tried to give me one of them little this big water cups, them little mouth-washing cups. I said, sweetheart, what size cup does the meal come with? Well, the meal comes with this size. I said, well, I told you I wanted water for my drink. Give me the damn size cup that comes with the meal, and I'll put water in it my damn self.
Oh, Lord.
But the common sense part, these young folks, these young folks, they lost. They lost. They totally lost.
And for everybody.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny. What about things like texting while driving? Think that's common sense?
They're still doing it.
I have mixed feelings about it. 2 reasons. One, because they act like this is the first time people have driven distracted. When I was a child, my mother drove with them big ass Rand McNally maps that covered the entire windshield.
Mm-hmm.
I saw people reading the Wall Street Journal in their cars, women applying makeup in their cars, people dropping CDs on the floor, bending all the way down on this side, the passenger seat floorboard, trying to look for it. So it's not like this is the first time we've been distracted. Now, at high volumes, maybe because the social media is basically taking control of everybody's life. But it's not the first time that we've been distracted driving. We've always been distracted as drivers. The other problem I have with it is some people are aware of not to justify it, but some people are more aware of their surroundings than others. And some people can walk and chew gum at the same time and some people can't. The problem is because some people text and drive and do it with ease. They always do it when there are no cars around. They may text one little word, put the phone back down, look around, make sure everything's good. Or maybe they do it at stoplights or whatever. But because you see people on their phone in their car, it's like everybody assumes that everybody can text and drive. And if you can't walk and chew gum, you don't need to touch your phone while you're behind the wheel. And I'm not saying that necessarily anybody should. I think for the most part, we can all say it's safe to put your phone down when you're behind the wheel. I mean, that's just honest. But it's not the first time that we've been distracted behind the wheel either.
It's just run the risk of causing more accidents, right?
But what doesn't? Putting on makeup in the car put you at risk. Changing the radio station.
So many different other places. So I kind of, put the phone down. It's so many people from so many other places. They can barely drive. So hell, put everything
But
down.
I think most of it is people can't drive, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think it's safe to say people should put their phone down when they're behind the wheel. But it's also safe to say that you can't judge everybody the same way as everybody else. What one person is capable of doing doesn't necessarily mean that someone else is capable of doing. And I'm not saying that there are some people who can text and drive all day long. I'm not saying that at all. But to stigmatize it and act like this was so wrong, but reading you remember when we had MapQuest and you were literally reading directions while you were driving, reading. directions, not just looking at a map headed north, south, east, or west. You were literally line by line. You would forget where you were. You were reading a document behind the wheel. We've been distracted the entire time we've been driving.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Distracted driving is definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. So do you think that lack of common sense could be one of the character traits of impulsiveness? So basically people who lack common sense as a person are the ones who generally have impulsive behaviors, do things on a whim.
I don't necessarily think you can classify that into people that just don't have. Don't start world class. Do not start.
Hey, I'm gonna be him.
Not
Today.
Matter of fact,
Hey,
hold on,
it's
Roxy.
exactly what it was
Roxy,
yesterday. Okay.
Hold on, Roxy.
We
You
have
know you got nominated. You know you got nominated for a common sense moment. So the moment for you is to turn off the live when you're done living.
I was like, good night, everybody. Bye. Close chat. Boop. Hey, I
Right,
came
and
right back.
on the live, and I couldn't turn it off.
Mm-mm.
Oh, snap.
So yeah, you nominated yourself last night.
I definitely left. Like, good night, everybody. Bye. Close. Leave studio. Don't cut off none of the lights. Don't cut off none of the.
Didn't lock the doors, nothing. Didn't put away no equipment, nothing. Just said bye.
I was wondering, you heard me say earlier I used to get fussed at for leaving that door open.
Right.
Going right out the door.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can necessarily classify that into people who don't have common sense. I think impulsiveness can come in a lot of different forms. I'm impulsive. I wouldn't say erratic, but I'm impulsive. So I think it can contribute. I just don't think we can sum it up into just that.
What you think, Niecy?
I feel the same way because, I mean,
He's trying to be funny.
You know we was in the struggle.
he is a hot mess.
On our whole comment section.
Right, and I keep trying to go ahead and turn this off.
Hey, matter of fact, world class, you know we lost the whole chat. That whole night, the whole chat disappeared, and we don't know what happened to it. I don't know what we did.
And I ain't got nothing to do with it neither. It's all you. Remember, my whole laptop died during the countdown. I was like, my laptop don't get click.
Hey, when it comes to this technology, I have zero common sense. That's not my area.
I'm so mad.
So yeah, we was in the struggle last night.
This is all for one. And Miss Monet, thank you. Don't be throwing us under the bus like that.
I literally all up under that bus. No, I wasn't on that route. I ain't go there. I ain't get off at that stop. I got off before. Got off the stop before. Y'all the ones that stayed on.
But hold on. I just thought of one. I got one that ought to be common sense, and this may hurt some of y'all feelings, but voting Democrat just because you're black is a generational curse. That ought to be common sense. Ooh. I'm just saying, just because you're black, you can have all the justification you want, but if you vote Democrat just because you're black, that is a generational curse.
I'm gonna tell you, I think because most people don't pay attention to government, don't pay attention to politics, they don't pay attention to what's going on in the news. They don't even know what Democrats like and don't like or what it stands for at all. They just make choices based on whatever they heard was popular or whatever their parents and grandparents was doing before them, not even looking at the efforts of the people that's actually standing in those positions. So it's in any instance like that where you have to make a vote about something that's going to be the best for the country that you live in or the culture, you always want to try to make sure that you do some research and learn what it is you actually voting for, because otherwise that's just dumb.
Yeah, that should be common sense. Don't just be voting just to be voting. Learn who you voting for. I totally agree.
People be like, oh, I liked his last name.
Just like all the Californians that are migrating all over the country, the ones that are moving to Texas, I promise you, I don't get them. Cali policy and Texas policy, two opposite ends of the spectrum. So people fleeing Cali because they tired of the way Cali is, you got there because of policy. Then you want to come down
Mhm.
here and vote the same way you voted over there, which is why you left over there.
Don't do
So
us.
common sense, if you leave an area, I don't care if it's a neighborhood, I don't care if it's a zip code, I don't care if it's a state, for whatever reason. You leave a state because of policy, you leave a zip code because you're tired of living in the ghetto, whatever the case may be. But you
Hmm.
take the practices over to the cleaner, the more polished, the different policies, operations, and all that to the new location. All you're doing is spreading the cancer. That's all you're doing. So whatever you left, leave that back there because you left for a reason. That's no different from you in a new relationship and your boyfriend or girlfriend, all they want to talk about is their ex. Don't nobody care about your ex because they're not here for a reason. And if you care that much, you can go back. So if you decide to migrate, and especially with everything that happened with COVID, people being able to telecommute on permanent basis, oftentimes you got people now that are going to states where the cost of living is lower. Like for instance, if you got a Cali job making $250,000 a year, but you're living in a state like, well, Texas is a little up there now, but they weren't a couple years ago. But you moved to a state that it costs you a quarter of what it costs you to live in California. You came up,
Hmm.
but don't bring those policies over here. Keep that over there. We don't want none of that Cali policy over here in Texas.
Not over her, Cletus. Not over
Yeah,
her.
keep that over there in Cali. Because Cali damn near a failed state. So
Savage.
yeah, common sense ought to be like if you move away from the hood because you want to get rid of the roaches, don't bring roaches with you. Or you move littering. This is something that I don't know if you want to call it common sense, but littering drives me absolutely mad. I have yet
Me
to
too.
understand why anybody wants to live in a landfill. Why do you want to walk outside of your home and step over blunt wrappers, beer cans, chicken bones, Taco Bell, plastic bag? Why do you want to walk out of your house into a landfill? Nine
Yes.
times out of 10, there's a dumpster nearby. Whatever building you're
Yep.
going to has a, I don't know. I haven't been to a retail location yet that does not have a trash can staged outside. So you get out your car, walking to a trash can, but you decide you're going to dump that right there on the ground. For what? You're walking right past the trash can.
Hmm.
See, so my grandmother always used to tell me that the only way that it's not litter is if the birds can eat it.
That bull. And I don't mean to talk about your folks. It's
That's
all
what she
first of all,
would
first
say.
of all that brings pests and critters. So you throwing chicken bones or whatever outside just because an animal can eat it. I
Birds
didn't
don't
want to
eat
walk
chicken
outside and have
bones.
pasta. I'm not saying it
Birds
don't have
do
to be
not
chicken.
eat
I'm just
chicken
saying
bones.
it don't matter what it is. If you throw food out there, you have the chance of you're gonna attract ants. You're gonna attract any other kind. You may attract
Nope.
possums, all kinds of critters that don't belong. You look, I don't be out there bothering them critters, and I don't want them critters over here bothering me. So keep your trash in the trash can, because you know what? That bird can get that same piece of bread out that dumpster if you throw it out on top. You don't have to throw it on the ground.
Yeah, that's the only thing we used to take out there and feed the bird. We used to take the bread out there to feed the birds on purpose. But yeah, no, we better not throw no paper or no trash or nothing like that out there in the backyard. You trying to
I
get
don't.
trying to
I
get
don't throw
full.
anything out there on the ground. I just
Yeah,
don't
we
like the idea
definitely
of walking
throw
outside
it.
into a landfill. I don't know why anybody wants to walk outside the trash. I never understood a litter. It grinds my gears to see people throw stuff on the ground. Like, what kind of caveman mentality do you have?
Yes. Yeah, we didn't consider it littering. We would just see the birds come, watch all the birds come, eat the bread, fight over the bread. It was great.
Nah. But you know what? I got another one. Common sense. Swimming is not just a leisure activity. The Black community, I'm going to say that one more time. Swimming is not just a leisure activity, it is a life survival skill because you don't have to go to the water for the water to come to you. You can get caught up in a
So
monsoon, Hurricane Katrina, those type of stories happen. You do not have to physically go to water for water to come to you. Please learn how to swim. Teach your kids how to swim. That is a life survival skill, especially if you live in a state that is below sea level, like Louisiana. People who go on cruises. How the hell you want to be on a whole cruise surrounded by all that water and can't swim?
Out there.
I don't understand that. It ain't enough life. I really don't know if those people understand the magnitude of water. That water is the strongest force on the planet. So for you to be surrounded by all that water, there ain't enough life vests on that boat to make me feel safe in that water, not knowing how to swim.
Somebody getting beat up. I'm taking theirs because I'm out there.
Right. And I'm not saying you ain't gonna have other challenges. You're gonna have sharks and the weather and you're gonna have hunger. You're gonna have all kind of challenges out there. But why do you want to be surrounded by that much water and not know how to swim? How do we not think that swimming is a survival skill?
I mean,
That needs to be
definitely
common sense.
it is, but
it definitely.
it wasn't a learned behavior when I was young. It was a scare tactic. So, yeah,
You could drown in a cup of water.
Right. You could drown in a teaspoon of water.
that's true.
Yo, you could drown exactly like you could swallow water wrong and be sitting there choking. You know, a lot of people do that just on a regular. So I mean, it's definitely something that you're gonna need to know a lot about.
Listen,
There's a lot of people that just do things like that. A lot of kids just go outside or just drift off. Like,
just do.
where do your
sent me a
intentions
thing
be
and
when your
let me
kid
know
just
that,
drift off?
the way that I put the command in there was incorrect.
You see, Nightbot just got fired.
I got
Huh?
We gonna fire Nightbot.
see, yeah. So that's supposed to be my goal.
You need a whooping. That's what's wrong. You need a whooping. What was you mad at the outfit? Dang, the outfit ain't do nothing for you.
Yeah,
Gang banging on the outfit.
And you know what? Anybody who knows me knows I'm not the one to pick up the phone and call them folks in blue. But every time I see somebody throw something out their car, I want to so bad. Y'all just don't know how much that grinds my gears to see people just frivolously throwing stuff out their car when I'm like, are you serious? And then to the point, I'll never forget this one time. This chick threw a plastic sack out of her car window on the freeway. The sack hit somebody else's doggone windshield. Stop throwing crap out of your cars while you're driving down the road. Girl, oh my goodness, man.
I'm kind of yeah.
It was the look on your face,
okay.
baby. I swear, it was like you seen the plastic bag coming.
And you know what?
Right? You be trying to duck.
Ooh,
You can see yourself ducking in the car, like
right.
I definitely
And no, you can't duck that bag that's finna hit your windshield, but you're doing it anyway. I'm just saying.
Oh shoot!
I'm just saying it be happening. So yeah, stop littering. If it's about nothing else, why does anybody want to walk outside into a landfill? I don't get that. I don't get that. Why do you want your neighborhood to look like trash?
You're not supposed
Living
to.
living in the projects doesn't mean you have to live project.
Yes. So wait, what about staring? Do you think that staring at people is a common sense thing? You know how you just look over and you feel somebody staring at you?
That's about common sense, because I think even when we were younger, I think there's a person on this planet that hasn't been told, don't be staring, don't be, you know what I'm saying? I don't think none of us have not heard that. I think it's just about either one, people being extremely rude and not caring, or two, people not necessarily being fully aware of them being lost in a gaze. Because I think that happens too. That sometimes you can be so distracted by somebody else that you don't realize that you've been looking for an ungodly amount of time.
You mean like, dang, he said.
Matter of fact, I have to tell y'all so later. I won't dare say this out loud. But I've been caught staring for an ungodly amount of time, and I wasn't meaning to stare. I just got distracted, and I got distracted. So, yeah, I think it's always
gray sweatpants.
I don't know how you knew it involves some gray sweatpants.
I know that's right.
It's a thing.
So yeah, I don't think that's about common sense for real. Because I think we all know it's rude to stare at people, but I think sometimes you just get lost in a day.
Stuck.
Some basketball shorts.
My bad. Dang, I ain't mean it. Stop banging that thing.
Speaking of gray sweatpants, I got one for the older gentlemen or even the younger ones. But first, for the older gentlemen, you do know that you won't necessarily lose your hip hop vibe if you start dressing like an adult. You don't have to be sagging your pants at the age of 47 to still be hip hop. I don't know who told y'all that, but you could dress like a 47-year-old and still be hip hop.
Yeah,
and for the younger guys,
at all.
Right. That's what I was just gonna say. For the younger guys, nobody wants to see your underwear. And I don't know how. Okay, this is the problem I have. One, either they know or they don't know and don't care. They know and they don't care or they don't know. But sagging is indicative to you being available to other men. That's first of all. So for the guy who does it, I actually asked the guy one day. He had damn near all his drawers out, right? And so I asked one day. I said, "Hey, would you sit around your homeboys in your underwears playing PlayStation?" And he was like, "No, why the hell would I do that?" I said, "I just watched you walk up a flight of stairs. You went first, two of your homeboys was behind you. The whole time you walking up the flight of stairs, your ass is in their face. Your boxers totally exposed in their face. At that moment in time, what's the damn difference, sir? What's the difference? I'm still looking at your underwear. So what's the difference?"
That's real. That's real. I mean, yeah. No, if I want to see your underwear, I want to see them while you taking them off. How about that? Not while you.
Yeah, but in public, I don't care. Man, woman, black, white, short, tall, skinny, fat. I don't want to see his underwear or hers in public. I just don't. I don't understand when we got to the point where people thought it's called underwear for a reason. You wear it under your clothes.
Hold on. Why it's got to be the kids you don't like?
Look, hey, that's funny though, because let me tell you something. I had a barbecue at my house. This was years ago. I was probably like 22, 23 years old. And I had invited everybody over. My mom was over there, everything. And there was this kid that wasn't the most attractive kid on the planet, right? He was 2 years old. And you know, those kids love to stare. Well, not only was he not the most attractive kid on the planet, but he also had a snot nose, right? So that just made it even worse. So my mom had fixed her plate. And he was sitting there staring at her like, "I want to eat too." And my mama literally said out loud, "Somebody get this little ugly kid away from me." And
so rude.
A lot of people, but But you know what though? That goes back to women being insulted. So you got two guys that give you a compliment, right? Say your dress looks nice, or that dress fits you real nice. If it's coming from a guy that she's attracted to, it's a compliment. If it's coming from a guy she's not attracted to, it's sexual assault.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I guess that's what natural selection is. It allows certain people to get away with certain things.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Hey, I'm just saying.
What about?
Usually some people can get away with stuff that other people can't.
Oh, shoot. What about you?
On that, hold on, I got one. I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but there are some things some people should not present. So since we're talking about unattractive, I knew a girl that was unattractive who sold makeup. I also knew a girl who had her hair. She braided up her hair one day, and when she showed up, walking across the parking lot, she looked like Stevie Wonder. Her braids like started like way back here. She was actually trying to tell us what products to buy for edges. Sweetheart, you can't say products to nobody. So other people selling makeup. I'm just saying, it is what it is. There are some things that aren't for everybody. You can be as passionate as you want to be, but you can't show up to my house looking like Jay-Z and trying to sell me a lip gloss or a foundation. That's just not going to work. It's not going to work. As a matter of fact, speaking of lip gloss, now, hold on. This is another thing that was common sense. Did y'all hear the story?
Oh my God.
Hey, did y'all hear the story of one of the Kardashian girls? I don't remember which one, but became a billionaire for her little makeup line or whatever. One of the young, I don't know if it was Kylie or whichever one of them Jenner girls.
That's Kylie.
Right.
That's
okay,
Kylie
it was
Jenner.
Kylie with the
That's
makeup line. No,
yeah,
she goes. Check this out. This is the common sense part that didn't make sense to me. So you got rich by selling lip plumping lipstick. When everybody knows that your mouth has been medically, physically augmented. So I'm like, hold on. Where's the common sense in the girls that ran down to the Ulta Beauties or wherever she sold her makeup at and bought this lip plumping lipstick, knowing that that is not why her lips look like that?
Oh, shoot.
I did not understand. How do we make this woman rich selling lip plumping lipstick when she gets injections?
I'm not.
They made her rich off of that dumbass cup thing too. Remember her dumb butt did that cup thing of quote unquote saying that made her lips plump, and then she came out with that lip plumper.
I'm not knocking her for coming out with the makeup. I'm not knocking her at all. But to call it lip plumping and people went out and bought it when the lipstick is not why her lips look like that.
None at all.
How did we do that?
I'm not. I refuse. Y'all ain't about to have
I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand.
Oh, Lord.
It'd be like that with them.
Roxy, hold on. You know, can't nobody come knocking on your door looking like the Grouch trying to sell, or Beetlejuice trying to sell you no foundation.
Wait. Because you know people be catfishing. I swear to God, I done seen some people that just not so attractive, okay? And they put that makeup on, baby, and you be like,
woo, for real.
Right. Man.
That's life changing.
Right.
If I was a dude, every time I went on a first date with a chick with makeup, I would keep face wipes in my purse. You're gonna have to. I need to see what you look like for real, for real. I'm serious. If I was a dude, I would keep face wipes in my back pocket. I promise you, I would, baby. You're gonna have to wipe some. I need to see what you really, because I really think a lot of these women don't know what they look like for real, for real.
Swipe in their face. Oh,
did y'all hear the story? It was an Asian guy. Attractive Asian guy, married an Asian woman, a beautiful, power, attractive couple, right? Well, they ended up having a baby. The baby was hideous. Well, the guy was furious. He couldn't understand why two people that were so attractive had an ugly baby. So he started doing research on his wife. Check this out. He started doing some research, found out his wife had had tens of thousands of dollars worth of cosmetic surgery prior to her meeting him, and she was actually unattractive. You know, he left her.
Oh, she wasn't who
Yeah.
she said she was.
She had had all the cosmetic surgery prior to meeting him. So what he meant wasn't what was born. And so they had the baby look like her when it came out. And so he was like, hold on, there's no way we produce this. There ain't no way. Not these two beautiful people. So yeah, so that's another thing. The women that are having all the cosmetic surgeries and procedures and injecting these, lifting the brows, plumping the lips, trimming down the nose, shaving off earlobes, getting your knees done, whatever we doing now, whatever
Knees
features,
done.
I'm just saying, whatever features, hold on. Whatever feature you're paying the doctor to give you, I hope y'all understand that those cosmetic procedures are not transferable genetically, and your children are going to look like the authentic you and not that bought you, that build the body you.
So wait, because see, we have to have this conversation on our next relationship show where we talking about should I go or should I stay? Because I feel like these is valid reasons. Because if you
because that's deception.
like feet in the face before I met you.
Feet in the face.
What if they got pretty feet though? Hold on, that's another thing. Why do men think it's okay for they to not take care of their feet? You don't have to go. I don't want you to get pedicures, but why do men think it's okay to not take care of their feet? What makes you think any woman wants you getting in her bed, snagging her sheets with them crusty feet?
Because they men and they hard bodies and they feel like that's the way they supposed to
A
be.
hard body ain't got nothing to do with taking care of your skin and clipping them toenails.
I don't know. Maybe all their skin is dead. I don't know.
Cutting up them damn sheets. Tearing up them damn sheets. Now I gotta
You
go
wake
get
up in
them.
the morning, you got cuts all across your ankles and shit.
You went to bed
Leave
not
you
ash.
take
All of
care
a
of
sudden you got some scratches on your legs. You like, dang, I didn't know I was ashy. Wait a minute. No, them is some
Take care of your
toenail
feet.
scratches on your leg.
Take care of your feet. Your feet should not look like you've been walking on hot coals for 10 years. Take care of your feet.
So
If for nothing else, hold on. If for nothing else, understand that your feet are basically what's holding you up. We put a lot of pressure on our feet every time we stand up, every time we walk, whatever we do in life. If we're moving, 9 times out of 10, our feet are involved. Take care of your feet if it's for nothing else but that. You know what? I'm not with y'all tonight.
hey, we part of the Crunchy Feet Society,
I'm not with y'all tonight. Take care of your feet.
Oh shit.
What the hell is a
I refuse.
Oh,
He said he refused to be bullied into
Oh, my
softening up his
God.
feet. Oh snap!
hell no?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Like I don't care. I'm still
Right.
sick. Period. Crunchy feet and all. What?
Oh my God. You're making me ashy. Keep your feet on your side. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Take care of your feet, people. Take care of your feet.
Dang.
They hold you up. Your feet hold you up. Take care of your feet. They hold you up for real.
Oh shoot!
I'm just saying.
Over there.
Are you all right, Roxy?
I'm done.
Oh God.
All I wanted to do was talk about how it made common sense to look both ways before you cross the street. Now we didn't got the crunchy feet and ugly faces. I mean, I died. Because I swear, okay, that That's funny that you said it because it's just like people who be like, I do hair or I do nails, and they always got these raggedy nails. And their hair ain't never combed.
Right. No,
Hey,
looking like
tell
nubs.
Stacey, hey, tell Stacey to get up on here and talk his trash. Tell him to come on. Tell him to bring it. Tell him to bring it. Matter of fact, you can see this profile pic.
Oh my God, I'm through. Nah, don't try to get out of it now. After you just subjected everybody to hell. Don't do that. Oh shoot. Oh.
Hey, I'll be surrounded by family and friends. That's all I know.
Oh my God. Oh my
I
God.
just spit, but that's not necessarily true. Like I said, you don't have to get pedicures. I don't go and get pedicures, but I do take care of my feet. I make sure they stay moisturized, all that. I don't walk around with crusty heels.
Oh, shoot. Oh, he must say put no
You
lotion.
are.
He ain't put no lotion on the feet. That boy, he over there like She gonna fuck me with these ashy ass ankles. Got me fucked up.
Roxy, take care of his feet.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Oh God. Wait, not the soap, because we ain't talk about no stinking ass feet. Wait. Okay.
Right. We were just talking about clean feet that just got crusty. Calm down. Wait a minute.
Oh shoot.
Wait a minute.
Now if
This
you
is
have
so
smelly
stupid.
shoes,
I wish
you
I
know
could
you
show
can
it
put
to y'all.
But if you have smelly shoes, you could put some green tea bags in them. It'll absorb all that up. But take care of your feet, folks. Just take care of your feet.
I'm not. I'm confused. It's about $35 if you just get the regular pedicure. You want to
But a man doesn't have to get a pedicure. He just got to take care of his feet. I'm just saying, don't act like you don't have to tend to your feet just because you're a guy.
The crunch on the bottom of the feet is for grip, though. That's the excuse.
Not grip. Shut up.
Oh shoot!
I'm about to hang up on all y'all.
I refuse.
I'm about to hang up on all y'all.
Oh my God! I'm hurt.
Y'all out of control.
My side just fell out. I'm through. This is it. Y'all trying to make me go into early labor. I can't. I refuse. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this with you guys tonight. All I want to do.
You crying? Don't cry eyelash, y'all.
I hear you, Rob.
Laugh a whole eyelash off. Hell.
Hell no. Hell no.
All I want to do is talk about the common sense of crossing the street. This is what I'm saying. I don't have.
You know what? You know what? We're finna end this because y'all getting out of control. Y'all are out of control.
I don't
Y'all
have
out
the
of
black.
control.
Okay. I'm not. All I could see was. Oh shoot! Oh shoot!
I'm not with y'all.
All right, wait. So for real, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I quit. I'm gonna tell you why I'm laughing though. Oh shit! Cause in my mind, all I heard was it was for that grip. Just
Don't
see,
start telling on yourself now.
I just picture some crunchy ass feet gripping the floor like,
You just hear the crunch.
Come on. I'm scratching up some hardwoods or some laminate.
In real life. In real. Just
You
scrubbing
scratching
up
up the
the floor.
laminate.
Ooh-wee. Okay. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So I got a question.
We ain't got no damn answers.
Get it out, Nisa.
Hey, all I wanted to do. Okay. Y'all just be making it hard. I'm just trying to be out here wholesome and living life the right way. And y'all making it hard.
So
Don't laugh. Y'all know I'm silly. Don't do it.
Now you can't see me laughing.
Okay, so the question, for real. Do you think that it is possible to teach somebody common sense? Is common sense something that can be taught or changed?
I think at a young age, but as you get older and get kind of sort of stuck in your ways, I think some things are still learnable, but I think it all depends on the individual and either how far gone you are in your ways or beliefs or not caring about other people or common courtesies or anything like that. So I think it's easier the younger you are, as opposed to trying to teach an adult common sense. If they're willing to learn, they'll learn. Anybody willing to learn will learn. But it's always best to teach them young, because when they're young, they're sponges and they absorb everything. Once you become an adult, you only learn what you allow your mind to be subjected to.
So you do think that it's something that's teachable, though?
Yeah, absolutely. What? Okay. It all depends on how you view common sense. So, okay, like we talked about the adding thing. Anybody ought to be able, if you go to school, if you've been through, if you made it past the 6th grade, everybody ought to be able to subtract pennies from a whole dollar. I don't care if it's 17 cents, I don't care if it's 32 cents, I don't care if it's 47 cents. Anyone ought to be able to subtract cents from a dollar and understand what is left from that whole 100. Anybody ought to be able to do that. So
Right.
while it's considered not having, I think there are teachings that allow you to exercise common sense. So, for instance, teaching your son to, or teaching your children to be polite or say yes sir, yes ma'am, or thank you, please. I think all those develop over time, and as long as we continue to practice them, I think it's easy for us to get into practice of doing things that should be considered common. But when you lose that, or when you start too late, I think it becomes harder to rein that in. But I do think that there are teachings that aren't necessarily common sense that allow you to adopt to what should be common, or you should be able to figure out.
Gotcha. That makes sense. We are not. We are not. We broke up with
Man,
him last.
Nightbot is on one. He didn't do nothing I told him to do.
Yeah. Nightbot ain't got
Nothing I
listen.
told him to do.
I was trying not to laugh. That's why I was really trying to be quiet. Like, okay, don't say nothing, because she tried to put something into that Nightbot, and then he said, the alias and the command that you talking about don't
Yeah, he
exist.
didn't do nothing I
He
told
said,
him
oh,
to
he's
do.
so raggedy.
Oh shoot! But not how his mama named though. I can't. I'm not. No.
Yeah, but for real though, I think it can be to a degree. Not that common sense can be taught, but I think the measures behind common sense are learnable.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. So that
But not
means
that you
get it.
can, yeah, but not that you could just have a class and teach common sense. But I think that there are things that you feed into people that develop what we consider should be common knowledge or common sense, or like we talked about before, being able to think your way out of a box. Because sometimes it's not necessarily about common sense, but just exercising your thought process.
Mhm.
Right. Right. That's real. That's real.
Agree.
So,
I'm done with work.
so
See, that's what I said. I felt here.
I'm not.
Hey, I guess my boss said I ain't taking no orders from no woman because he ain't do nothing we told him to do.
He ain't into it.
Nothing.
That,
It is what it is.
that's why I all got on him last night. Sick of his stuff. Oh, hard headed dude. Ain't that
Right. I'm gonna fire him. Yeah, we gonna fire him or figure him out one way or the other.
Lord? So we done talked about all of these common sense measures, things that should be considered common sense, but generally aren't, things that most people should know, but some people don't follow. Things that should be what they consider unspoken rules, that just aren't practiced. We've talked about the different ways in which you can go about making changes and teaching other people how to gain the common knowledge. We've also talked about the difference between common sense and erratic or irrational behavior and whether or not they correlate with one another. So, um, is there is there any other common sense ideas that you ladies have before we all get blocked?
Uh, I guess I'll have me a little I guess a melanated moment.
Yep.
So two things that ought to be common sense. One, America is racist, and well, three things. Uh, Two, Patrice Cullors is full of shit. Anybody who don't believe that, you right over there with her. And three, all skin folk ain't kin folk. Patrice Cullors, prime example.
Period.
So if they weren't common sense, I'm just saying.
All right. If you don't know now, you know. Go ahead, Nisi.
Right, I was just about to say. So if you don't know, now you know. You know. Let's see. One, watch your kids. Two, it takes a village. I don't care what nobody say. It takes a village. Get your damn kids.
Why the village
Um,
can't watch my
She know
kids?
that. She know that. That's why she extort money from everybody else because it takes a village. That's why they want everybody to get rid of these student loan debts because it takes a village. They all know that. They just don't want to be the ones that chip in. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad.
Can we just get up off of these student loans? Can y'all please erase the student loans?
No, I don't want to pay for your damn student loans.
She said she ain't got that shit to do with you, anime.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. Hell no.
Oh snap! I was asking for a friend.
No. I am not with tax dollars paying for your education. Because what's unfair about that? Well, I understand why you may want your debt clear. First of all, free. This is common sense. Just because it's free to you, don't mean it's free. It costs somebody something. Just because it's free to you does not mean it's free. So just because you got your $200,000 degree whitewashed, somebody else is paying for that. So answer me this. How do you think the individual who didn't go to college because his parents couldn't afford to send him to college, right? And we don't talk about a lot of things in the Black community. So maybe this individual didn't know anything about grants. A lot of things can happen why he didn't go. But ultimately, his family couldn't afford to send him to college. Now, this same individual now is 30, 40 years old. And now you're telling this individual who didn't go to college solely because his family couldn't afford it, that he now has to use his tech dollars to pay for your degree? Where's that? Where's the logic in that?
that ain't what I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be like, so, homie, this is what you can do in order to be able to go too. It's never too late. Go ahead and get started on that. This is how you can get yours wiped out later. Because I'm trying to get mine wiped out now.
I'm just saying that don't need to be on no taxpayer. College is not a rite of passage. It's not owed to you. So you made a decision, a unilateral decision to go. Why should anybody else be responsible for that debt? I feel the same way about unilateral decisions when it comes to giving birth to kids. I feel the same. Whatever decision you make unilaterally, you shouldn't be able to put off on anybody else. I don't knock you for getting a higher education, but that's not America's debt. That's your debt. It's not ours. We wouldn't sit in that classroom with you. We ain't the ones that got the $200,000, went to $200,000 law school and couldn't pass the bar. Now you want everybody else to pay for your degree. No, sir. It ain't our fault that you stupid. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. And you can get mad all you want. You not passing the bar, it's not my fault. It's not my fault you didn't pass the bar.
Don't be a quitter. If you spent the
it is your fault. If y'all's kids are stupid, I'm gonna need y'all to help us help these kids not be so not knowing how to do what they're supposed to do. I need y'all to also help with this math too.
The only way I'm cool with that is for the ones who didn't go. Now we all get to go for free and let tax dollars pay for everything. We all get to get an education. But at that point, if everyone has the same degree now, because everyone's getting an education on taxpayer dollars, so college is accessible to everybody for taxpayer dollars, does that not devalue a degree?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I'll be talking trash. Mine's is getting forgiven regardless.
That's your fault. That has nothing to do with me, ma'am.
I graduated.
Nothing. It ain't my fault you went to med school and working at Walmart. That's not my problem. Sorry.
It is. I need you to pay for it.
Like
I'm sorry, Rox, but hell no. Hell no.
I swear, but it's so serious.
Hell no. Pay for your own damn degree. That's not a rite of passage. It's not.
That is real. I swear I'm cropping this out on everything.
You think I don't have access?
I'm gonna need this snippet. We need this short.
Right.
I'm not with it. I'm all for the higher education, but that's a choice you made and nobody else should be responsible for that. I feel the same way about Pelosi advocating for America funding global abortion. No, you slept with him. You decided you didn't want to deal with the repercussions of that. I'm all for you going to have your little abortion. I don't want to pay for your shenanigans. I shouldn't be paying for your one night stands or your bad decisions. That's on you, ma'am, because you ain't helping me pay for my bad decisions. I'm the only one paying for my bad decisions.
Why you don't just want the taxpayer dollars to be finagled like they been doing? Dang.
So hold on. So taxpayer dollars is cool to fund global abortions, but we got homeless veterans out here on the street.
Oh shoot.
I'm sorry. I'm not for my tax dollars funding global abortion. I'm not even for my tax dollars funding American abortion. If you want one, pay for it yourself. That was your swing. You wasn't pulling my hair in the bedroom last night.
I mean, I'm in the struggle with
wasn't the name. My name wasn't the name you were screaming. You wasn't screaming my name. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't. Nope. Nope. Pay your own way.
I thought you was holding the leg.
Pay your own way.
I'm holding the leg.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Ooh.
There was no third parties involved.
I'm sad. Every time I want to rock the boat, you always want to deflate the water out. It's fine. No worries.
Hey, y'all know, hey, I don't care who it come from. I'm not with the tomfooleries, and that is tomfoolery.
All right. I was since we've talked about all these things, and now my side then fell out twice.
If the feet ugly, he not holding the leg. He's so childish. I'm
You know
sorry.
what?
Roxy, get back to you. Get back to
That's
you,
what I
Roxy.
said. I know. That's what I
Get
said.
back to you.
That's what I said.
Do not
That's
entertain
my
him.
problem. That's my
Do not
problem.
entertain.
I
I'm saying, dang, you getting on my nerves. I keep looking.
it
Come
is
on,
what
let
it
me get a
is.
night bot.
So let me give him this command real quick.
Nightbot don't listen. He left. He left. He said he ain't on y'all. He left. No money, no honey.
Always out here playing. Hey, good. It's fine. It's all right. It's all right. Y'all make sure y'all
No, it's all
tune
good. It's the last Thursday of the month. Yeah, it's the last Thursday of the month.
Y'all just come back. You know, we here every Thursday, 9:15 Eastern ish,
I'm
8:15
glad you said ish.
ish. You know,
Because we on the CPT.
I'm not gonna be late to my funeral. Ish.
Okay. I mean,
Period. Ooh, the disrespect.